Welcome to Tune In to Wellness Today. My name is Lisa Marie Tersini. I am the founder and host of today's show, Tune In to Wellness Today, where we introduce to you a myriad of natural wellness modalities, services, and products throughout the Capital District, as well as introduce to you those practitioners and representatives that offer those services. And we do this with the goal to help you receive the wellness that you need in your life. My first guest is Karen Totino from Green Conscious Home and Garden located in Saratoga Springs. Karen has her master's degree in occupational therapy. In 2005, she started an organic lawn care business, and in 2009, she opened up Green Conscious Home and Garden. Welcome, Karen.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. So Green Conscious Home and Garden specializes in...
Well, a few things.
Okay, tell us.
We consider ourselves a retail showroom. So our showroom incorporates interior finishes such as flooring, paint, plaster, wood finishes, and countertops. Okay. And then our other side of our business is natural bedding and beds. So we have natural latex mattresses. We're one of the only showrooms in the area where you can actually try out a natural latex mattress. And we do all sorts of natural bedding that includes wool, toppers, pillows, sheets, towels, all the accessories for your bed. So, but our focus is really on indoor air quality. So all of our finishes contain no volatile organic compounds or very little, and we try to focus on natural materials or recycled and sustainable products.
And I surmise that you focus on that because our homes can be quite toxic and the products we can put in our homes can be.
Right. Mm-hmm. So our homes are integral to our health. I mean, obviously we live in them, and, different ways that we can absorb toxins is through ingestion, through eating. So a lot of people have switched to organic foods. They've switched to organic cosmetics because our skin is another large organ that we can, ingest toxins. And then air, we can breathe in toxins. And I think, when we think about toxins, we think about exhaust from cars and smog, and but actually our indoor air quality is 2 to 5 times more polluted than outdoors. And we spend 90% of our times inside. So indoor air quality is really important to how we feel, and people can get sick building syndrome where they have headaches and feel foggy and fatigued and don't feel good. It can exacerbate asthma and allergies.
I actually have a personal experience in that. When I was in law school a handful of years ago, I lived in what they call a toxic or a sick house. And I experienced that firsthand, and it's very dangerous. And I became very sick. Someone who is always very healthy became very sick. Foggy mind, could not focus, respiratory issues. So I'm a testament to that for sure. Right. How does one improve their air quality in their home? What are you doing to help them with that?
Right. Well, when you're building or you're remodeling is a time when you can all of a sudden introduce a lot of toxins because you're using a lot of finishes that will outgas volatile organic compounds, and you may be doing improvements that improve energy efficiency, tightening up your home. So there's a lot of different areas, not just finishes. There's other things like carbon monoxide and radon and mold that can be poor indoor air, contribute to poor indoor air quality. So one thing is to stop bringing in toxins into your home. So that's pretty straightforward. And then also to test and find out what is, make sure you don't have a bigger problem with mold, radon, or carbon monoxide. But on occasion, you're going to have times when you might buy some new furniture, you can't afford, organic furniture, or, have instances where you're going to have volatile organic compounds. And one way that you can clean your air of those is through a living wall.
And tell us about the living wall. And for the audience watching this episode today, they will see an actual picture of one. And you brought in an example?
I brought in just one pot from the wall. So what your audience is seeing is, first of all, the living wall is obviously a planted wall. And this system is a single pot per plant. So it's a grid of plants. And a lot of people think that the air is being cleaned by the plants, the leaves, and there is some filtration and some, but that's actually minimal. Where the cleaning is actually occurring is in the soil. So each plant is fastened to the wall, and this plug goes into the plant. This wick is where the water runs through and the plant's able to suck up the water. But there's a little, you probably can't see it, but there's a little air valve right there.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so the wall is connected to a fan that is pulling the indoor air and pushing it through each of these plugs. So the air is going through the soil. And when there's plants and soil, there's always microbiology. There's bacteria, just like there is in our stomachs and, you know, the soil food web, beneficial bacteria, beneficial fungi. And they have a symbiotic relationship with the plant. They provide minerals and nutrients for the plant. The plant gives them sugar. Well, those biology actually digest volatile organic compounds. So they're large carbon molecules that get broken down and aren't harmful to us once they're digested by the biology in the soil. But also by pushing the air through the soil, it's filtering out dust, dander, mold, and all the particulates and things that are in the air that could be exacerbating asthma and allergy. Mm-hmm. So this is a great, it's difficult to find air filtration systems that will clean the air of volatile organic compounds. So this is unique in the sense that it does that, and it does that in addition to providing this beautiful, you know, piece of artwork.
And you speak about VOCs. It is the same. Okay, great. Now, Karen, can someone customize? Do they customize these living walls?
Right. Okay. So what people are seeing is considered it's a double panel. So it's two panels stacked together. You can have them any combination, size, and it is self-watering. So it is, mine is hooked up to, actually plumbed, and hooked to a timer, and it's watered 3 times a week. So a lot of people are concerned that they have a black thumb and, they'll just die. So it is not maintenance free because it's a living wall. It needs to be trimmed, and there is some minimal care, but you're not responsible for watering the plants. It is either hooked to a reservoir or directly to plumbing.
And would someone put one in every room of the house?
Well, my double panel would filter approximately 2,000 square feet of living space.
That is magnificent.
So, if you had a 2-story, I would suggest breaking that up, putting half of that on the first floor and half on the second floor, if that's a possibility for you.
This is wonderful. And if someone was interested in obtaining one of these or speaking to you, is the best place to come into the retail store and take a look at different models that you might have?
Yes. The best thing is, to contact me and come take a look, and we can talk about what your situation is, where you would like to put it and the logistics of it.
Great. So we have health benefits, self-watering. What are the benefits to this living wall?
Well, I think too that it's there's so many studies about how plants make people feel, and I think that having a planted wall in your space is going to improve mood, improve your sense of well-being as well. But it also buffers humidity too. So in the winter when it's dry, it's going to add some humidity. And it's not going to add as much humidity in the summer. So it's humidity buffering, so it's going to keep the space more comfortable.
And we need that in upstate New York.
We do.
Right? Or the Northeast in general. So that is fabulous. Congratulations, and thank you for all you're doing. I think this is a great product. I'm so excited to come into your store, to be honest with you, and take a look at it for my house. Anything else you'd like to put out there for anyone to know?
No, I hope that you take a trip up to Saratoga if you're not from Saratoga and come visit me.
Tell them where. It's on Church Street?
It's on Church Street, 33 Church Street.
Great. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it. If you would like more information on Karen and the work she does, go online to greenconscious.com. Today, my second guest is Nick Palvodi from Bodywork Professionals. Nick is the owner of Bodywork Professionals located in Saratoga Springs and Latham. He is a licensed massage therapist and an advanced structural integrated practitioner, also known as Rolfing. Hi.
Hi there, Lisa Marie.
Thank you for being here, Nick.
Thank you. Nick Pavoldi, An advanced structural integration practitioner.
Integration, what did I say? Integrated, I think?
Yeah.
Okay, close,
Yeah.
all right. Nick, tell me, that's like Rolfing. It's the same thing as Rolfing?
Yeah. So Ida Rolf called it structural integration, and all of her students called it Rolfing. And for kind of a backstory, there's several different kind of schools. My teachers had studied directly with Ida Rolf and still teach a very pure form of what she was teaching.
What is Rolfing?
So Rolfing is about creating alignment through soft tissue manipulation. And the premise is that an aligned or a balanced body spontaneously heals itself. It works better and it spontaneously heals itself. And that's been one of the things that my kind of primary mission as a structural integration practitioner is to support the healing process. So it's myofascial work, it's muscle and fascia work, and there's some movement involved, but it's kind of hands-on direct manipulation.
Okay, great. How is that different than, a Swedish massage or any other type of massage?
Yeah. So a Swedish massage, typically you're beginning at a different premise, and Swedish massage is a very effective form of soft tissue work, and at Bodywork Professionals we do a bunch of them, and we also do deep tissue massage.
Okay.
Structural integration looks at what might be causing imbalance to happen, and then it works on that. So whereas a Swedish massage is there to relieve toxins and support sore and overworked muscles, structural integration says, well, why are those muscles sore and overworked? And if that's a pattern, we help break that pattern apart through movement and work. And we also kind of uncovers some more of the secrets about why things might be tight.
Okay. So during that process then, does the patient feel any discomfort, or is there any pain?
That's a great question. Sometimes it is, in our language, there isn't enough verbiage for pain or not pain. And so there can be a lot of experience there. I really try to shy away from pain, or at least I like to say I stay on the sweet side of pain. Now, classically, structural integration or Rolfing work, you can feel it. That is kind of a part of it, and it can be significant work. But over the 15 years that I've been practicing it, I've also learned the most important part of this is the person on the table, and to become a partner with that body and to work with that body. And so if somebody's at the point where you're doing so much that they've got to shy away, you're doing too much, and no good is going to happen there. That said, there are often times where it's like, wow, I had no idea that would feel that way. I had no idea that would be that sore. And so you're working with somebody, and there is a heightened experience. And again, I don't like to use the word pain, but sometimes you really can feel it. That said, the work is also very resolute, and you feel like, wow, that is a itch that needed a scratching. That's something that's sore, but I'm glad you're working on it.
Now, a question for you in regard to knowing when someone needs that type of a treatment versus something that's simply a relaxing type of massage.
Sure, and when we have people call, or if a potential client calls, we try to sort of suss that out during that process, because certainly I've had some folks come in thinking they're going to get a Swedish massage, and they get stuck with me, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's kind of the last thing I wanted to do. And a lot of times if somebody comes in, they're overworked, they're overtired, maybe they've been working too hard out at the gym, maybe they're a mom or a dad that's chasing kids all over town, that's a great thing to have a Swedish or a deep tissue massage for. If you've got a long-term chronic problem, something that's like, this is really set in your body, and you can feel that you're not even working right, or going a little further, you feel depleted and exhausted because your body is tired and in pain all the time. Now, that's when my radar comes up, and I think, well, this person might be a candidate to get some structural integration work. And again, this is kind of a tune-up. This is a significant thing. This is a big deal. Each one of these is I'm going to input a lot of change into your body, and so your body is going to try to figure things out afterwards. But chronic conditions, things where you feel like, wow, I had an injury 6 years ago and it just keeps coming back and coming back and coming back. And there you've got a weak link. You've got a spot in your body that, because it's relatively weak, some other parts have really taken control and they've kept that thing kind of weak. And they kept that thing kind of weak.
Kept you out of balance.
Kept you out of balance, yeah.
Right.
You know, our bodies work so hard to be healthy. They want to be healthy.
Yes,
they want to be
absolutely.
strong. They want to do the right thing.
Right.
But sometimes the conditions are such where that's difficult to do. Funny thing that usually happens is somebody will come in, oh, their back isn't, oh, my back is killing me. My back is just killing me. All I did is reach for a toothbrush. And that reaching for the toothbrush, the conditions existed so that reaching for a toothbrush became a big deal.
Absolutely.
And with most folks, you know, you kind of know, oh man, I'm real tight. I've been working hard, especially in the cold, and you know, you're shoveling and doing something, and then it's one more thing. And then it's kind of difficult to recover from that because the conditions are such where recovering from that is a lot harder, whereas like an injury and that kind of thing, your bodies want to heal. But first and foremost, your body's a healing machine. And we spend an enormous amount of the food we eat just regenerating cells in our body to keep us healthy. And so to latch onto that, to partner with that mechanism, and to make some smart adjustments to bodies, that's where often really comes in.
Tell me some benefits if I were to receive a treatment from you, or someone watching the show were to come. What are some of the benefits they might receive from having this work done?
Fluid, graceful movement. That's like the thing I'm always going for. And you know, once your body is a jaguar, you can kind of keep it as a jaguar. But that's the thing that in every session, the integration part, so the structural part is about getting these body parts to work together very nicely. The integration part is about putting the whole package together. And this fluid, elegant movement is a hallmark of structural integration. And a longer, lengthened, leaner body. So the idea is to organize your body around a central vertical axis. And when the deviations from that, we call it sort of a random body. And you can see there's all these different body parts. And so the feeling afterwards, the feeling after session one especially, is one of openness and light. You feel like you can breathe deeper and more fully. The work is classically done, and I do the classic work of separating it into 10 sessions. There's a package of a series of 10 sessions, 10 goal-oriented sessions. Second one is on your feet and lower body, and that's your body's relationship to the ground. The third one is the relationship of your hips and shoulders, and that's where we kind of work in a cross pattern in your body. The fourth one is the insides of your legs and pelvic floor, and that's where we begin the larger portion of the work. The fifth one is your core and trunk. The sixth one is your back. The seventh one is your head. And by that point, we've touched on everything in your body. And then 8, 9, and 10, we put it all together.
Put it together.
That's where
So I surmise through this treatment process that not only physically are we feeling better, but we are starting to feel better emotionally and even mentally as well, because we're no longer in pain. Our body is no longer stressed. Correct?
Yeah.
You know, we're feeling healthier, more energy. This is great,
Sure,
Nick.
that's a great way to put it. And, you know, we very much inhabit our bodies. We are not just a series of parts, and those parts not just, we have an emotional and a spiritual and a physical body. It is a oneness. It is a singularity. And physically, having done a bunch of human dissections, I've learned that this body is not a bunch of pieces. Everything is connected.
Holistic. Right?
Yeah.
Everything is holistic. So I love the work that you are doing. This is fabulous. And I thank you for doing it so much. If you would like more information about Nick and the services he offers, go online to bodyworkprofessionals.com. And my third guest today is Suzanne Ambler from Inspired Living. Suzanne is an ordained minister. She is a Hawaiian practitioner, Hawaiian healing practitioner, and a Reiki master teacher. Hello, Suzanne.
Hello, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. So great to have you
It's
here.
great to have the opportunity.
I am so excited. We're going to talk specifically today about one of the services you offer, which is the Ho'oponopono, which is a Hawaiian restorative type of healing. Is that correct?
Yes, I like that word because oftentimes they call it the Hawaiian forgiveness technique.
Okay. Tell us about what it is first.
Well, Ho'oponopono, first of all, means to make right.
Okay.
It means to make pono, which means to make right, to let go. So oftentimes they call it the Hawaiian forgiveness technique, but actually in Hawaiian language there is no word for forgiveness.
Okay.
But in our culture, we think in terms of forgiveness. So it's really about making right with relationships or things that happen to us, traumas, letting go basically is what it is, and to bring it back to more what I would call light and love.
Okay.
So that there's no heightened emotion in whatever relationship or situation or things like that. And the techniques are very simple. I've been studying this for like 25 years. It's very, very effective.
Okay.
And you'll find a lot of some Ho'oponopono out there on the internet now with a gentleman named Dr. Hen Liu, who studied under what they would call the kahuna of Ho'oponopono. Kahuna means the master.
The masters, okay.
Which was Moraina Simona.
Okay.
He teaches something called I identity Ho'oponopono using 4 simple words. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I teach that as well as some of the more techniques that are a little more intense and really pulls out all of the sort of tentacles of whatever happened to you that the kahuna taught.
Well, I have a question for you. So we're talking about forgiveness. Are you speaking about forgiving ourselves as well as forgiving others?
Yeah, so what the Ho'oponopono really is about is forgiving ourselves, but also forgiving the other person,
Okay.
and being able to totally let go of the whole situation. Let's take like anger. And the problem with our society is lots of times with a relationship or a situation, we don't get to clear the air, so to speak. So maybe we had anger, and we didn't get to say our piece, so to speak. So it's almost like we have this little box inside us in our emotions, and we put anger in. The next time we have anger we don't get to deal, we put it in and put it in. And we have this lovely pearl necklace called the Pandora's box. And one day we have anger, and suddenly we react.
Just explode.
Explode.
Right.
Which is totally incongruent with what happened. But what happened was this beautiful pearl necklace just popped out.
Right.
What Ho'oponopono does is start to pop some of those lovely pearls.
Okay.
And sometimes you actually get to the first one, and the rest go poof, 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 poof. So this technique allows you the opportunity to go to the root sort of cause of what actually created that, and sort of have the opportunity to sort of say your piece and forgive the other person and forgive yourself.
It's beautiful.
Or just
now,
like
how do you help people to walk through that process?
So I actually teach them the actual technique
Okay.
of doing this process. And the nice thing about the process is it puts all these things sort of in the bucket. So you're clearing the whole thing. So I actually teach them through 3 or 4 different processes to how to actually do this.
Okay, and why did you choose Ho'oponopono?
Well, I chose Ho'oponopono because, like I just said, it sort of puts everything in to be able to clear the whole thing. All aspects. The aspect of being able to say what you need to say by doing a writing technique or this other technique I have. Allowing the other person through sort of your imagination to say what they might need to say. And sometimes you get this really piece you would never know. Do the forgiveness part where you're forgiving yourself and you're also forgiving the other person. And oftentimes that part is about what we did or they thought we did, we should have done, or they thought we did, or we said, or they thought we said. So it's all that unknown aspects. And then you sort of cut that connection of what created that. You're also sort of putting in any sort of, like genealogy or ancestry, that thing where we, we do stuff and we're like, oh, my mother said that, or we did that. So and then you just sort of add in the light and the love and the forgiveness. So it's sort of putting everything in there and covering all bases, and it works. It really works.
It sounds like you said it was effective. So now why, not why, but give me an example, if you will, of someone that you have worked with, without any names, please.
Of course.
Of the benefits that they received. What did you help someone? Give me a significant example of how you helped
some
someone.
of the different, and if I tell the story, even though I'm not using a name, I have permission. This one lady came in that day. She was going to work on someone else because I actually teach a class, and she had this thing at work with someone that always went on and on and on. So she actually did the technique and sort of cleared the air. And the purpose of doing it is so where you feel flat emotionally. She went in the next day, and the woman actually came over to her and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry I do this. I realize I do this thing," and it sort of cleared the air. It never happened again. Another woman she said to me afterwards, like days later or a week later, she said, "This thing has been bothering me for 30 years. And finally, I don't even remember what it was."
It's beautiful.
And it's also very good for, like, if you leave one job and go to another, even if it was a great job, you're still sort of connected to that.
Mm-hmm.
So it clears so you can move on to the new job, or one house to another, or even say, when your son or daughter goes off to college, that's a whole new relationship. So let's make right with that relationship and start a whole new energy.
This is very interesting.
Yeah.
And you just used the word I was going to use. It's all about energy healing.
Yes,
And
it's all
peace and
about-
love into
right.
the energy. Give me one or two more benefits, if you can, about this modality.
It could also be about a relationship you had that may or may not have been good. If it wasn't so good, it gives you many ways of clearing that. So again, the goal is to make the emotion flat. Or even if it was a good relationship and it's time to move on, then you can clear the air. And I oftentimes say to people, and there's also a way of closing off the relationship you had, if it was a bad one, and creating a way of having a new one with an energy line, sort of like, we call it an ACA cord. So it's really just effective and efficient for using on anything. It's also something, I teach you quick techniques where if something comes up that day, you can clear it immediately.
Beautiful.
So you're not creating that beautiful pearl necklace that you don't want.
You're not adding that pearl to that necklace.
No.
I love it.
So there's some videos that you can watch online of Dr. Han Lu. He usually talks about this technique that you're using. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Or they can come see you.
Or they can come and see me.
Right?
I teach classes
Okay.
on a regular basis.
Great.
And also in continuing ed classes.
You are wonderful. I love this. Thank you so much for doing this work.
Thank you for inviting me.
If you would like more information about Suzanne and the work she does, email her at reikisue2001@yahoo.com. Once again, we're ready to wrap up this show. I want to thank you for watching. I do want to extend a great thank you to all of you who reach out to me with your health-related questions. Please continue to do that. I specialize in disease reversal, anxiety and depression issues, as well as couples counseling, and I love your calls. I also encourage you to reach out to any one of these practitioners you saw today to ask any questions that you would like. I'm sure they'd be glad to have you come in, non-threatening environment, and share with you what they can do for you. We want you to be well and happy, and until next time, be well, be happy, and be alive.